There was a time where Disney was the emotional boot camp of childhood. Your initiation into growing up probably didn't come from your parents or school. It came from watching Mufasa die in slow motion under a stampede. And somehow, after being traumatized for the rest of your life, you thanked Disney for it. Because back then, their movies hurt, but they also had something to say. The classics hit hard because they weren't afraid of sadness. The Disney classics dived headfirst into themes like loneliness, fear, and grief. Themes like death, abandonment, failure. All of these themes were on the table. They trusted children to handle big and difficult emotions, and in doing so they created stories that stuck with us long after the credits rolled. Today, Disney doesn't want to hurt you. It wants to service you. It wants to comfort you. It wants to assure you that everything's going to be alright. And the result is a lot of movies that look good, they sound good, but they also make you feel nothing. The tears have dried up. Well, it's not because we've become cold-hearted adults. It's because Disney have stopped making stories that make audiences feel something when we watch them. The golden age of Disney was built on a very simple idea. Contrary to popular belief, children are not idiots.
I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time.
Children feel grief and they feel fear, and they need stories that take those emotions seriously, because unfortunately the world that we live in certainly will. Take the original Bambi animation, for example. You get about 15 minutes of, oh, look at the pretty forest, and then bang, Bambi's an orphan. And Disney doesn't apologize for it. There's no magical spirit in the forest to revive Bambi's mum. She's just gone, and you have to sit with that. Compare that with Frozen 2, a movie that flirts with the idea of emotional risk but never quite commits. Olaf, the merchandising gold mine, he melts in a dramatically lit scene meant to symbolize the collapse of Elsa and Anna's world. It's a quiet and tender moment. Some would say it's quite a moving scene, but just a few minutes later he's back, reassembled, good as new, like nothing ever happened.
Really?
And that's the difference. Old Disney broke your heart. It didn't rush to put the pieces back together. New Disney seems to fear, for whatever reason, that letting their audiences sit with grief and sadness might damage their brand. Disney seems to fear that if the audience gets too sad, they might stop buying all the merchandise. So they dangle the emotional stakes in front of you and then yank them away just before they get too real. It's not just about character deaths, it's about emotional honesty. Bambi taught people that the world is sometimes unfair, that love can be lost forever. Frozen 2 teaches them that even when it looks bad, don't worry, they'll always come back. And when you train your audience to expect resurrection, you rob them of the thing that makes stories stick. The fear that something might actually matter, that loss might be real, that tears might be earned. Because what made those old stories powerful wasn't just the trauma, it was the trust. The trust that audiences, particularly kids, could handle complex emotions and come out the other side stronger for it. And that brings us along to Lilo and Stitch. The original animation was a film that was born out of emotional chaos and identity. A movie about what it means to lose your family, to not fit in, to be so weird and broken that even the people who love you don't have a clue what to do with you. And the Lilo and Stitch live action remake erases all of that. In the live action remake, they diluted Lilo's character. She's still quirky, but in that commercially approved, sanitized sort of way. She's less erratic, she's less lonely, and therefore she's less real. Her character is sad in the same way an Instagram post about mental health awareness is sad. It's performative, it's inoffensive, and it's instantly forgettable. And then there's her sister, Nani. In the original, she's really struggling. She's drowning, like she's literally about to lose her sister to social workers. She's trying to juggle jobs, or she's trying to actually find one, and she's dating a guy she barely has time for. She's angry, she's exhausted, and she's emotionally fragile. And that's precisely what makes her relatable. In the remake, they tie it all up in a neat little bow. She goes off to college and leaves Lilo with her friends. The message goes from family means no one gets left behind to, well, sometimes they do. At the end of the day, Disney's most powerful stories didn't just entertain us, they trusted us. They believed that kids could handle big emotions, that families could wrestle with loss, and that audiences, no matter their age, could sit with sadness and come out stronger for it. But in recent years, that trust has been replaced with caution. Sadness has been scrubbed out, conflict has been softened, and emotions have been flattened into something safer, something easier to advertise. And in doing that, Disney hasn't just avoided pain, it's avoided meaning. This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about the emotional honesty that made those stories timeless. Because children still feel lost, they still feel grief, and they still feel like outsiders just like Lilo did. And they deserve stories that reflect that reality, not hide from it. The best Disney movies made us cry, not because they were cruel, but because they were brave. They knew that without sadness, happiness felt hollow, and without pain, growth feels fake. No one's asking for every Disney movie to leave you emotionally traumatized, but the ones that dared to confront their audiences are the movies that their audiences never forgot. So if Disney really wants its stories to matter again, it has to stop being afraid of what made them magical in the first place. Not the castles, not the songs, not even the talking animals. The feelings. All of them. Even the hard ones. And that's the blunt truth of it.